The 4 most important positive parenting techniques are validation, balance, listening, and support. And I know that this is summing up parenting in 4 words, which is probably not realistic, but just different techniques to help you feel like you can approach parenting in a more healthy, positive way for your child. So the number one thing that's important when we're approaching parenting through a positive lens would be validation. Validation is accepting your child's feelings as they are without judgment instead of telling them how they should feel. And this can be hard for a lot of parents because sometimes with our experience or our maturity or the different things that we've gone through, we kind of want to tell our kids how they should be reacting to certain situations or not. But the most important thing with validation, the most important thing that it actually promotes is emotional intelligence. So when you validate someone for what they actually feel, that helps them organize it in the right way. And I think as parents, we should want our kids to be able to say what they're feeling, know how to handle it the right way, and work through it in the healthiest way possible. So we start that process by validating what they feel when they feel it. The second most important technique to use within your household would be a flexible form of balance. Balance between being strict and lenient. And we want this to be able to establish rules while still reinforcing the importance of self-exploration and the development of independence for your child. I think if we grew up telling them exactly what to do, exactly how to be every step of the way, we're not really letting them come to their own understanding of who they are as a person. So although it is very, very important to be strict in some ways, have rules and have structure in the home, it's also really important and also really cool for your children to be able to explore who they are and come to their own understanding of what the world is like, how they could problem solve, and how they can work through things in their own way. So balance is really important, making sure that we're not overly strict, but also not overly lenient, because again, structure is very important. The third technique that I think is really, really important would be listening, active listening, because we all need to feel heard. When we listen for what our kids are actually saying and how they're actually feeling, it helps us validate them, but it also gives us an insight to what they actually are needing, or if they have any feedback on how they feel like things are going, or if there's things in the house that we should be tending to more than others, right? Like, where is our attention going to? So when we actively listen to how they are doing or how they feel about certain things, we get a better understanding of who our children actually are. And also the way that we listen, role models for kids, how they should also listen. I mean, it's probably pretty annoying for parents to, when they're trying to discipline their children, trying to have a conversation with them, to constantly be interrupted by their children. So if we turn that around 180, how annoying would it be for your kids who are trying to tell you something, share something personal with you, for you to constantly maybe be interrupting them with what your opinions and your ideas are. So really just taking a step back, recognizing that a moment's gonna be a moment because your kids are your kids, and so they'll be with you for a long while. So we don't have to necessarily work through an issue in 5 minutes. We have more time to be able to sit as a family, work through things, and when we have time, that means that we can actually lend some time to listen to what each other are actually saying. The last thing that I think is very important is support. And most people think this is like supporting the child. And yes, that is very important. I think all parents should support their children in what they want to do, what their dreams are, what their interests are, what their passions are. I think that helps them feel independent and have a sense of self-esteem. So yes, definitely support your children. But support in the way that I'm thinking is seeking help when you need it, seeking counsel or advice from people who you trust, who you respect, people who have gone through similar circumstances with their children in the past. If you really think about it, the first time that you have an 18-year-old in your home is the first time that you've probably ever had an 18-year-old in your home. So I think there's no manual for how you're supposed to parent your children, and no one is perfect at it. So if you feel like you're lacking in an area or really can't come to an understanding of what to do, it's okay to reach out to people who have gone through it before, just to gain a better perspective. I also think when you support yourself as a parent and you give yourself what you need, you're not allowing your issues to affect your children. And that's really important too, to kind of keep yourself in check, basically, so that you're better able to, with clarity, help your kids with what they need. So those 4 things are the main 4 things that I think are important to approach parenting in a positive way. Other just key tiny points that are very important would also be, being consistent with your kids, having structure in your home, making sure that you have boundaries, and then do establish a sense of authority. Like I said, everything happens in structure. There's structure and there's order and everything. So I think having a home that has structure and order is healthier for everybody. I think for kids, when they don't have structure, it sounds great. It sounds like, yay, I can do whatever I want, but it's very, very, very overwhelming actually. Positively and gently guiding our children through life is necessary. So just making sure that you are working also on consistency, following through with consequences that are healthy, following through with constant communication, establishing boundaries, and also being an authority that can also have empathy and compassion is very important. If you are a parent and you feel like you need the added support, or you'd like to just learn more about different ways that you can support your children in your home, please let us know. You can call CBHA, make an appointment with one of us so we can have more conversations. And we'd love to help you and your family with anything that's needed. Thank you so much.